You paid $2 for this bottle of water. The water inside? Worth about half a cent. Less than 1% of that price is the water. 99 cents of every dollar is something else entirely. So what are you actually buying? Because it's barely the water. Let's open the bottle. Here's where your $2 actually go. The water is the cheapest thing in your hand, a sliver. The rest is plastic, trucking, and brand. Here's the twist, in full. The exact same water, from your tap, it's basically free. Put it in a bottle, and it's $2. You're paying for plastic, a label, a truck, and a brand, not for the water. The single most expensive thing in your hand isn't the water. It's the empty bottle. That empty bottle costs more to make than the water costs to fill it, many times over. And a big chunk of the rest is marketing, convincing you that this water is somehow special. Per gallon, that bottle works out to about $12. That's more than you pay for gasoline. Why so much? Water is heavy. A lot of what you pay is just trucking it across the country. Follow the bottle. A water source, a bottling plant, a distributor, a store shelf, and finally your hand. Every single step takes a cut. By the time it hits the shelf, the water is an afterthought. So here's what's really in the price. The plastic, the cap and label, the truck that moved it, the cooler it sat in, and the brand on the front. And the source at the very start of that chain? Surprisingly often, it's just a tap. By one widely cited estimate, 64% of bottled water starts as municipal tap water. The label says mountain spring. The fine print often says public water source. Here's the irony. Tap water in America is actually tested more often than the bottled kind. Same water, filtered, sealed, and renamed, then sold back to you with a brand new price tag, which means you can pay 2,000 times the price of your tap for water that's often the very same, and it gets worse. Grab that same bottle at an airport or a stadium, and it's $4 or $5. Because you're not really paying for water, you're paying for it cold, sealed, and right now. Filter that same gallon at home, about 4 cents. At the store, it's $12. And we buy a lot of it. Americans go through about 50 billion of these bottles a year. We now drink more bottled water than soda, about 47 gallons each, every year. Now it isn't a scam. Sometimes you really do need water you can grab and trust. But there's a catch. Only about 3 in 10 of these bottles ever get recycled, so the bottle outlives you. The water inside is gone in 5 minutes, and one reusable bottle? It pays for itself in days, then it's basically free for a year. The markup was never really on the water, it's on the bottle, the brand, and the convenience. Buy it when you need it. Just know what you're really paying for. So next time it feels overpriced, it is. You're barely paying for water at all. Now look at that half a cent again.